Well, welcome everyone to CCM Talks. I'm Lizy Hoeffer, and today we're going to be talking about how to support the Hispanic community. Hispanic home ownership rates have increased over 50%, making 8 years of consistent home ownership growth in the United States. That number is expected to grow, and Cross Country is committed to making the homeownership dreams of the Hispanic community a reality. So I'm really excited to have you ladies on here today. Each of you have your own individual experiences working with the Hispanic community. You're all very, very passionate leaders. And I'd love to learn and have you guys teach about what has been working for you guys in this space. If you guys could quickly just introduce yourselves, how long you've been in the industry, and just a little bit about your experience with working with the Hispanic community.
Hi, thanks for having me, Lizzie. I'm Lauren Maxwell, and I have been in the mortgage industry for 36 years.
Dang, girl. How long have you been working with the Hispanic community?
Since 1992. So a long time. I think that's about 31 years now.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Teresa?
My name is Teresa Barajas. I've been with Cross Country Mortgage for 6 years. I've been in the mortgage business for 10 years, processed 2 years, and have been originating for 8 years.
Nice. And how long have you been working with the Hispanic community?
I've been working with the Hispanic community probably when I started working with Lauren, which has been 7 years ago. I had mainly focused on with portfolio lending, so we did a lot of jumbos, so that we didn't really get too many Hispanic buyers when I worked for our local bank. It was just mainly jumbos, and not saying, Hispanics can't get jumbo loans, but it was mainly just Americans.
No worries. I gotcha. But that's interesting. Andrea?
So my name is Aindrea Wilder, and I have been with Cross Country since 2011, and I have been in doing mortgages since 1992. So you have a few more years on me, Lauren. Mm-hmm. And I have been working in the Hispanic community the entire time. I am super passionate. There's nothing more than I love of seeing a family that wants to have that dream, and we get them a plan in place and help them to execute it. And it doesn't matter to me if it takes them 2 months or 2 years or 12 years. That they get there is the whole point.
So I love that. And we had a previous call to kind of set this one up, and it was very evident how passionate each of you guys are about advocating for the Hispanic community. One of the things I just want to point out is everybody here is fluent in Spanish except for Lauren, which is not a big deal. So Lauren services a very large percentage of Hispanic borrowers and Spanish-speaking borrowers with the help of her team. Andrea is fluent in Spanish. One thing I did want to point out is both Andrea and I are Hispanic. We're both Mexican. And it's important for me just to kind of showcase that diversity looks a variety of different ways, and you can still support a minority community without having to speak the language and without having to know the culture. You just have to be passionate about helping homeowners. So with that being said, how did you get started, right, helping Hispanic clients?
Sure. So I've been in the business since 1987, and I went from being a salesperson, closing loans, to going back into the banking world and learning from the bottom, because I couldn't figure out why every one of my loans was not closing. So I really learned from the processing end and the underwriting end, and I realized we had a need. Nobody knew how to do FHA loans. And this is, again, back in the 80s. So I left the bank and went to a mortgage company in the early 90s, and I was called by a Spanish-speaking real estate agent and said, hey, I understand you know how to do FHA loans. My community where I live, we really need help. And she goes, but nobody speaks English. However, if you're willing to come out, I'll translate and you take the applications. Now, ladies, back in the day, we didn't have computers, so it was all taken by handwritten 1003s and a credit report machine you'd bring with you, and it would spit it out, and you'd have 3 carbon copies. But to that point is that a lot of people were coming here, they were, coming over, and they just didn't know. They didn't know about credit. And I was really, I would say I was their mortgage person, but I was more of their educator. just like you had stated. I didn't care if it took me 3 months to 6 months, and I got to know the people, and it was a need for their family. Everybody wants to have home ownership. And this was in an area that wasn't the best, area where we lived, and I was literally working in a trailer at night. I'd go there after I put my kids to bed, and I would be in there for 3 or 4 hours because people work all day, right? So they had to do the same thing with their kids, make dinner, put them to bed, and they would come out because they wanted that dream of home ownership. And I was the one person that picked up the phone, answered her, and was willing to go out there. And
That's my favorite thing about you. In every instance of talking to Lauren, there's always some hurdle, something that would have stopped, I don't know, 10 other loan officers, and you're like, no problem, let me figure this out. I'm just going to put my kids to bed. I'm going to drive out to a trailer, and I'm going to take pre-quals until midnight. And I just love that because that is what it takes to be successful in any market and with any clientele. And I just really love that, and that's why she's the number one, guys. Andrea.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what it means to work for an organization.
These opportunities, I just can't say enough positive things about that.
Oh my God, I love talking to you. You are the most positive person I have ever met. I mean, tons of gratitude, so much passion. I'm just obsessed. We're very happy to have you too. I just speak for all of cross country. Teresa, tell me, can you give me some tips on what it takes to be successful with Hispanic clients?
To be successful with the Spanish community, I would say building that trust. The Hispanic community, I've noticed they want to work with someone that they trust. So, and part of building trust is education. So I like to provide them with a roadmap from beginning to end because that makes them feel at ease when I explain it to them, and it doesn't seem so scary anymore because the thought of buying a home is very scary. The process seems scary, but once you kind of lay it out and just explain it to them, hey, just provide me with these set of documents and I'll hold your hand throughout the entire process. I just feel like that makes them feel at ease. And another thing that I've noticed just with working with Lauren, and Lauren doesn't speak Spanish, but she did build a team of mainly all Spanish. I think everyone speaks Spanish in our office, so that I know that has definitely helped Lauren take her to that next level. So if you don't speak Spanish, learn Spanish, or maybe surround yourself or build a team with Spanish-speaking LOAs, junior loan officers that can help your clients.
So I think as loan officers, sometimes we overcomplicate things because what it sounds like to help the Hispanic client sounds very similar to helping any client, right? They just have to get pre-qualified. We have to tell them and sell them on why they need to get pre-qualified as soon as possible because they do need action plans lots of times. And so I love that that's the way that you're helping them. And is there any specific things, I know that I deal with a lot of Hispanic clients in Arizona, and sometimes there's a big disparity between non-English speakers and then people that do speak English in terms of what they are aware of financially. I do find personally bringing them into the office with their documentation has been really, really crucial for me in my conversion. What would you say? Is that similar in your area?
I would say it is similar for the people or for the Spanish buyers that are not really tech savvy. I do bring them in, but if they feel comfortable enough to submit an app online, or I'll take the information over the phone and I tell them, text me a picture, email me a picture, whatever works for you, what makes your life easier. Your credit score is a 400 will get you to the point where you can purchase. So don't feel embarrassed, don't feel nervous, just come in, let's run the credit, and let's make an action plan.
I would completely agree with that. Lauren, you have a ton of experience working with the Hispanic community. What's one of your favorite stories?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of them. Well, I mean, there are some of them that, I try to stay in touch with them, of course, through our social media, and I run into people. So I'll be at Costco, and I haven't seen somebody in like 10 years, and they'll go, Miss Lauren, hey, I'll remember, like, and their babies were infants, and now, they're 10 years old or 11, and they still talk about their house, and, hey, I'm gonna come back and see you, we wanna do another one. So it's a lot of repeat business. So my business is probably 60% of my business is all repeat business from those clients for them themselves or telling their family members. And then some of them, of course, have kids now who are buying. And then I do their mortgages. So I can't say there's one story that stands out because, there are many, and I still keep in touch with so many of my clients.
Can I tell you guys a funny story about my first clients in Spanish?
Absolutely.
Please.
I was just hoping you guys had a funny one. So I speak Spanish as a second language. I'm from Nogales, Arizona, which is a border town between Mexico and Arizona. So I'm fluent in Spanish, don't have a problem speaking it, but never wanted to do it in business because I just felt that you had to be very professional, and my Spanish is not as my English isn't as professional as it should be. But everyone demanded that I do it because there were no Spanish-speaking loan officers, and they had it was when you could do the short sales, one day after a short sale if you weren't late on an FHA loan. Mm-hmm. So I get these clients, and their last name is Diosdado, which is God-given.
Diosdado.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is a sign. I'm totally Catholic and very religious, so I'm like committed to doing this home loan. So I get through this whole loan process. 5 years later, I'm doing their son's home loan, and he speaks only English. And then it turns out both of the parents speak fluent English. Fluent English. I was like, is this a joke? I was like, I thought you only spoke, and they're like, you were just trying so hard. We didn't have the heart to tell you.
You were struggling.
And that's how I got my start. But it's just so funny. It's like, well, there's your sign. There's your sign. We take all the clients we got. Andrea, do you have a special story?
One thing that I love is when I go to a closing, I can think of one before the pandemic, that when I walked in, the title company was looking like aghast. Because when I walked into the room, there was 30 people in there. So not only did they all come dressed in suits and dresses, even the kids, they had them in, but they had the grandparents there. They had the aunt and the uncle, and the title lady was like, oh my goodness, we can't have this many people in one room. I'm like, hey, this is a big deal to them. Do you know how long they have been waiting to accomplish this dream? They want all of their family to see it, and I try to make every single one of them feel first home, and then I'll always do a crazy picture.
That's 28 future loans.
Again, why she's number one.
I love your spirit.
Lauren wants all the loans. This is like my faves. Okay, so in addition to helping the Hispanic community, I'd love to hear from all of you guys. What are some ways that you actually help Spanish-speaking realtors, so agents that go after the Hispanic community?
So I'll share with you. So we're very part of NAREP. We're their main sponsor. So again, so my team, almost all of my loan officers speak Spanish.
You don't have to be Hispanic, just so you guys know, or Latino to join NAREP. You just have to support the Hispanic community.
So we support it. So we always, even before we were the main sponsors, we were always up there in one of the three. And I've been doing that for years before I even knew what NAREP was. Because again, when somebody asks you, a realtor asks you to help in the community, you help no matter what you are, right? And recently, this just happened to me, and again, I deal with a lot of Spanish-speaking realtors. I would say 70% of my realtors are Spanish-speaking. They speak both. However, there are some that don't, and then they have their assistants call me, okay? I got a call from somebody, she has 25 agents, she has her own brokerage company, and she says, I've been sending you my deals lately the past couple of months, it's been going so great, I watch your social media, I want you to come in and be my preferred lender. She goes, the only thing is, I still use you, but my other people are scared because you don't speak Spanish, but I told them your whole team does and that you'll bring people with you. Anyway, I'm going there Monday, and I have 2 people who are going to help me on the account. She still uses me. She speaks perfect English, but a lot of her people don't. And now I'm going to be in an all Spanish account with 25 real estate agents. wherever you are. But unfortunately, Hispanics do get the short end of the stick, because if they go to a bank and they get a non-English speaking representative and they go there and they only speak Spanish, they're not going to be treated that great. And sadly, I've seen it myself just walking into a bank before. So.
I feel that.
I would agree with Lauren, and it's a lot of education. So just educating the real estate agents, educating their borrowers if they want to do a lunch and learn. I'm always happy to do that. So it's just a lot of education, and I'm a part of our Naples Area Board of Realtors, because I also, a lot of the times, a lot of Spanish realtors don't know how to write up contracts. I don't know if, Lauren, if you've ran into that before, or they're trying to write up a contract, or they're asking me real estate questions, and I'm like, I have no idea. So now I've joined our local real estate association, so that I can help them with some of those questions that they may have. And I mean, I'm not a real estate agent, but I get informed and I help them in that aspect, and just a lot of education with the different products that we offer.
Love that.
I also work with realtors doing first-time home buyer seminars. All of my presentations are in Spanish, so I did that several years ago with marketing, and I was very appreciative for them to help me out with that. But in addition to that, we also do a lot of volunteer work in the Hispanic community. Both my husband and I have always supported Children's Hospital. We're very privileged to have that very close to us there in Columbus. And so when families come from other countries, they need a support system here. And so Cal and I we've opened our home. And they live with us during the time that they need. And we are their aunt and their uncle. And people call me Tia Andrea. I mean, that's what they call me. And I am proud to be. I'm so proud. A lot of times on social media, people will tell me, how many nieces and nephews do you have? I said thousands. Because they really are my nieces and my nephews. I really feel that way. And that just helps you to see it. When you give, you get 5,000 times more back.
I mean, you can really tell how passionate all of you ladies are about really serving. A couple ideas that I want to just throw out there, just in terms of like tactics, are things that really work well in the Hispanic community are anything radio. Radio is really huge. Videos in Spanish are really huge. Anytime you can speak a native language to any minority, honestly, you're going to get more eyes on it. And if you have a really good call to action, we have here lots of marketing material in Spanish, as well as a words that you guys ladies would love to impart on anyone watching this if they wanted to seek out. I mean, and it's not just the Hispanic community. Obviously, we're very, very passionate about that, but real estate agents in general, any other minority communities.
I can say one thing, that it does entail a little bit more work than your average loan. You might think that a couple of things should be like something that somebody should automatically know. Like, why is it wrong to have $10,000 in the cushion of your couch and then just suddenly deposit it? You know, you have to explain these things. And you might not have that same challenge in other fields, but you have to take the extra time to try to explain what might seem to you to be something that everybody knows. Not all the time does everybody know these things.
part of the Immokalee Foundation and being part of Immokalee in the town, and whether it's going back to school, we supply backpacks, whether it's Halloween and supplying, whether it's candy, Thanksgiving, bringing out turkeys, Christmas, collecting gifts. So we always have boxes where people can drop off, and we're out there a lot. I actually just spoke on a panel of CEOs, and it was over 150 junior and seniors from the Immokalee Foundation schools that they sponsor.
Wow.
So this generation is actually breaking the parents' generation of not speaking English, and they are so educated and they have so much fire, and they're all either going on to secondary college or to a field, and they had so many questions. Like it was such an honor, and I loved it. So being part of, if you want to break into that field of working with the Spanish market, then make yourself accountable, put yourself in the community, and do for others, because it will, just like Andrea said, it will come back in tenfold. And I didn't do it for that reason, because I didn't know back when I was a long time ago. I mean, it just happened. So that part follows. So do what you love, but do it because you love it and really help, and then it will follow.
Lauren, that is beautiful.
It
Well,
really is. I
thanks.
mean, honestly, guys, everything starts and ends with value and how much you care, right? The people that want the ball the most are the ones that shoot the most baskets, and they tend to win. So we're just going to point that out here again. Teresa, do you have any final words?
Any final words?
I'll final it. I'm going to final it because
Lauren will finalize it.
cross country, I mean, I really believe this, and I think I've been here, how long have you been here?
You've been
Since
here the longest,
2011.
for sure.
So, okay, I've been here a little bit the longest. Well, we started at the same time, but, and I've been with a few companies over the past 36 years. We have so many amazing tools. Cross Country is an amazing company, and I tell all the managers and I tell loan officers, if you can't make it here, then I really believe that you should get into a different field. No, and I mean, this
We
isn't
mean
to
that
be mean.
for real. I second that.
Okay?
We work
Because
for the best mortgage company
we do.
in the nation.
We have tools, and we have an owner who feels the same way about loans and was just one of us, as well as he still is. Like, I could still call him and ask him about a loan, and he'll, if he doesn't know the answer, which he normally does, he'll find out for me in 5 minutes. But like, he cares, and we just offer so many tools. There's nothing we can't do. If a client really wants to buy a house, then there is nothing we can't do, because we have every product. So we should just be all very proud to work here, and we can end our careers here and be very lucky. So-
Amen.
Agree.
Okay, well, on that note, guys, thank you so much for sharing your wonderful stories and your testimonies about helping the Hispanic community. We're very lucky to have you guys here at Cross Country. Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay.